in the tutorial because it'd be a waste of time. So that's available on the phpacademy.org forum. So it's phpacademy.org/forum. You'll find that code, the code that will allow you to log your users in, and then all you need to do is create your database tables by following the tutorial. And then this button, the code for this button here is also provided, but I will be explaining that during the tutorial. So this button here, upgrade to premium, what does it do? Well, when we click on it, it will take us to paypal.com. If you just wait a moment, obviously it's just loading PayPal. It's taking us over to PayPal, and it's asking us to pay for premium membership. That's the description of the item. We've got an item number, which in this case is irrelevant. We've got the item price, like I said earlier, it's £8.99, and then we've got our totals here, quantity 1. And in here we are going to enter an email address to pay with. So in my case that's not going to be my email address because we're sending the payment to my email address. I'm going to use a different email address here, type in the password, click login, and then it'll ask you to pay. What will then happen is, once the user's paid, we'll then call our IPN.php page, which is, if we open context here, I'll provide this in the forum as well. This is also in the forum. However, we do need to, when we come down, we are going to create some more code that's actually going to process it. So I'm not providing the full code for this tutorial, but I'm providing the code that's irrelevant to the tutorial, the nature of the tutorial. However, we will be explaining it. So let's go back to our browser. So that's what's going to happen. We're logging in, we're clicking upgrade to premium. What's going to happen is our IPN.php page is going to process this, and what it's simply going to do is it's going to check the user ID, the user that's logged in. It's going to pass that to PayPal, it's going to check the payment, and then what it's going to do is, oops, okay, there we go. So what we're going to do is we're going to be processing the payment through our page that exists on our server, and we're actually, the page is going to be checking the payment and then updating this value to 1. So when that value is updated to 1, let's just go back to browsing our data. When this is updated to 1, what's going to happen is the user is going to be redirected back to the page. The payment would have been processed, and if it's processed correctly, our IPN.php file, which exists on our server and like I've already shown you is here, is going to connect, and it is going to, if we refresh, change the account type to premium. And then with the is premium function, you can disallow access to specific pages based on whether the user has premium membership. So that's how it's going to work. I know this has been a really long introduction, but it's really fundamental that you understand how the IPN processing works before you actually go ahead with the code, because if you don't know how it works, then it's going to be hard to try and debug any errors you may find along the way. So the last thing that we need to do in this video with setting everything up is we need to go over to our PayPal account. So obviously if you don't have a PayPal account, you are going to need one. It doesn't have to be a premium account, it can be a standard account. You can still use instant payment notification. And there's a few things that we need to do to set this up. Now, you've probably noticed that over on this page here, the URL is phpacademy.org/tutorials/IPN. Now, this folder IPN, this last folder here, is where I am storing all of the files that you can see in my text editor. So we've got glob.inc.php, which is a global script which is going to contain our database connection and our is premium function. We've got index.php. This looks like index2.php, but that's just due to my FTP client, FileZilla. It's just renamed this to index.php, but this index2.php here is in fact this page you see here. What we do have then is IPN.php and logout.php. That just destroys our session and relocates us to index.php. So you can see that I'm using on a public server where people have access to it. Now, why am I doing this? Why aren't I working on localhost? And why aren't I creating this tutorial on my computer? Well, the reason for this is obviously when PayPal needs to redirect all this data to a file on your web server, it can't be your local computer, because, well, it could be, but I don't want to just specify an IP address for my local computer and that. So obviously when you are working with things like this, you need to really be on a public server to allow PayPal to access this domain. So what we first of all need to do is we need to set up our payment receiving preferences. So if you go into the profile tab, or the profile link on your, I need to log in.